Okay, so we'll get started, and I know folks will probably jump on. And just for reference, that this meeting is being recorded to be replayed and live streamed at a later date for people who could not attend. So, hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for our Lowering Your Energy Burn in Town Hall. I know that there was a lot of conversation that I was going to not host another town hall, but it was interesting the circumstances that amidst what's going on with all the energy rebates and initiatives that the state is leading, you are now starting to see random folks just pop up at your door that aren't from the community that you might not know. And for me, I thought it was just a little concerning because honestly, there's so much for folks to take advantage of. And everyone here, your panelists this evening, are folks doing the amazing work. So and sake of having one more town hall just to make it convenient for folks who are doing it virtually. So it is my pleasure. For folks who don't know me, my name is Representative Kila, House District 44, Wa'ili Nanakuli Honakaihale. It's my privilege to have you folks here this evening just to discuss this. It's about an hour. It shouldn't take that long, but really this is supposed to be the launching pad for more intentional services that is available not just to the community we live in but across the state, and why not take advantage of it from people that are in your community. And this is exactly what we wanted to do. So I will introduce our panelists real quick. So I have Auntie Charlotte Pohl from the LEI Foundation, Auntie Kapua Kamai from Waianae Sustainability Co-op, and Sebastian Selark from Shake Energy Collaborative, Parker Kushima from the Hawaii State Energy Office, and Dante Hirata Epstein from Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority. So let me just give you some background on our panelists today. Auntie Shar from Leeward Empowerment Initiatives Foundation, a Waianae Moku community advocate. She is representing Solarize 808, which is an initiative of bulk purchasing rooftop solar campaign led and vetted by our community members. Auntie Kapua Kamai from the Waianae Sustainability Co-op, Energize Waianae Moku, and Waianae Valley Homestead Community Advocate. She's going to be talking about the community-led and community-designed solar on the ground as an alternative to rooftop solar. Sebastian from Community Planning and Technical Lead at Shake Energy Collaborative will talk about the community-led and community-designed solar as well as other forms of community-based renewable energy. Parker Kushima from the Outreach and Community Engagement Specialist at the Hawaii State Energy Office and is also the coordinator of the Energy Wayfinders program. He'll be talking about the energy efficiency programs for rebates on appliances and technologies that use less energy. And last but not least, Dante Hirata Epstein, a community outreach officer at the Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority. He'll talk about the affordability of rooftop solar and batteries and our state and commercial bank financing loan programs. So all of that in one mouthful. Thank you again for joining us this evening. I'll turn it over to our panelists.
Okay, thank you very much, Rep. Kila, for hosting this panel. I think we have some really exciting news to share about, and excited to share about our Solarize 808 program too. So here's our beautiful logo and a quick overview of what we'll be talking about today. So starting off with rooftop solar, then community solar, energy efficiency programs, financing, and then ending with a Q&A. So I'll hand it off to Auntie Shar now. Let me give you control.
Mahalo, Dante. So I say mahalo to Darius, Representative Kila, for hosting this last town hall before we closed out 2023. We were very appreciative of the space and time he created for us because it's important for our community to be able to access resources and benefits more directly versus only systemically. So for us, that was understanding that the accessibility and affordability of rooftop solars on our home was the most direct way to do that, besides other smaller technologies that they can implement and install in their homes. So what is Solarize? Solarize is our rooftop solar purchasing campaign, like was mentioned, and it was intended to gather community members and create this hui so we could kind of bring down costs for it. We could definitely look for contractors that meet and exceed our expectations for community, right? It was looking at what were some of their past experiences what were their track records. We wanted to make sure we could get high quality equipment at affordable rates for our people. And definitely, what does their post-installation customer service look like for our people? Because over time, we've heard some challenges that many of our community members who already have solar have gone through with various contractors. So we wanted to do a measurement and vet contractors according to what community expectations were, and find this kind of good middle ground between what we can offer to them and what we expect of them. And definitely it was to build relationship with our community members to understand what they needed and what we might be able to provide with the resources we have immediately, and also what we could look for in the future to bring to the table to our communities as well. So I have control. Okay. It is not going now, Dante.
Okay, let me just click through then.
Okay, sorry. So just to briefly, Kapua and I are from the Waianae-Moku. We both live in Waianae Valley Homestead. We've been here, our families have been here for generations. So we're highly invested in the success and prosperity of our people, right? And finding others who would support that endeavor and that vision for us was important, especially around clean and renewable energy, especially around helping our community members in Ohana lower their energy burdens or save on their electricity bill. But it's not only us over here on the Waianae-Moku. On Ko'olauloa side, we're also working with Auntie Dottie from Hau'ula on their side as well, because very similar communities, very similar goals. So these are like our community people who boots on the ground, trying to serve and help our Ohana, but we couldn't do it alone. And so what we did is hui up with some of our government entities, like you heard Hawaii State Energy Office, Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority. We also have our nonprofit organizations like Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement, as well as our city Oahu, the Resilient Oahu Kalamai, Resilient Oahu group, which is from our city. Then we also have those who are experienced in the systems side of our of renewable energy, and that's organizations like Shake Energy. And Hawaii Electric, as our utility providers, also part of this, because helping us understand the technicalities of connecting to the grid, and also how do our bills affect how we read our bills and what are we seeing on there. So everybody kind of came together around this to figure out, how do we make this happen for our communities, right? We always see these large solar farms, especially in our moku, come up. So it was better for us, and I shared this before, that it would be great if we had 100 acres of homes with rooftop solars and not only 100 acre solar farm, right? That would be so much more beneficial for our ohana, much more complicated for the utility and developers in the state. However, for us, when we look at prosperity of our people, that is ideal for us. So we got to do it together. And I know it's kind of a trite saying, but it's so applicable. It is a kako thing. Yeah. Sorry, okay, there we go. So what's been happening so far? Even though the slide starts from October 22nd, where we look at the community events that have happened, and we've had some really great events trying to get out there and spread the word. So much planning and discussion and just conversations around, well, what do we do? How do we do this? Happened way before October 22nd, 2022. So keep in mind that even though we're showing you about some of the times we were in the communities, all of this was going on before. And that's also looking at how do we develop these relationships with the entities or the stakeholders that we showed to bring our strengths and not our biases to the table, so that we can create this really robust program for our communities. So we know we just had on Saturday, right, Christmas on the Avenue. I'm going to work backwards. So Christmas on the Avenue was our most recent event. We set up 3 booths and created this energy zone with all of this information and access to continued information and technologies to help residents, ohana, whether you own your home or you rent your home, right? Whether you live with ohana or yourself, all of these things that could help you lessen your energy burden and definitely reduce your electric bill. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but we did things on Ko'olauloa side, and we did things on the Waianae-Moku side, from workshops to tabling at events, serving food trying to just have great conversations and build relationships. And this will not stop, right? Even after this meeting into 2024, we have plans to continue to do this kind of engagement, get out there in spaces so that we're able to provide information to our community consistently. Yeah. And so then on the RP side, when I talked about vetting for a contractor, we had a couple of attempts that were not, we didn't get any bids on the RFPs, but what that did show us is where we needed to kind of beef up our knowledge and our expertise in how we engage and understanding what contractors are also looking for. We knew from community side what we wanted, but we also needed to give and show value for them. So what did that look like? So even though our first RFP in January of this year, right, went out, we had an informational session that a good number attended, but there were no responses to it. So we're thinking, okay, we have to adjust. Our second attempt was, about July, and we had the pre-bid meeting again. We went through Q&A with them, and still we didn't get any bids. So our next option to do this was we have to reorganize and re-strategize on this. What does that look like? So instead of going out for like this big one and trying to get them to respond ahead of time to what they could handle, what we ended up trying to do is, re-strategizing on, okay, let's start with a group of community members who are ready to go, who want to join the WHOI. And this is what we ended up with so far, right? 65 signups online, 40 signups in person. Now we start with the set number, determine their needs, and what we will do is release another RFP in January of 2024. That's our proposed timeline for now. And then from there, we want to move forward because by the end of 2024, our goal was always to be within that calendar year and have the complete installation of all of our systems. The other thing I think we're incorporating is definitely having more discussions with households and other homeowners about their experiences with solar, whether they have solar right now, whether their systems are working or they cannot reach people, or they want to get solar, and how those interactions, those experiences have been for them as well. So I'm going to ask Dante to go over this on a scenario, just to give you an idea of what rooftop solar can do for you.
Yeah, so this is kind of a visualization of what we have in mind for what we want to achieve when we find our selected contractor for the kind of savings that we want our participants to achieve too. So for this example, we're looking at an 8.8 kilowatt system and a 10.5 kilowatt battery. So this is comparing what would it look like if you just went with solar from your average contractor on the market versus what it would look like if you went through Solarize 808. So you can see the market system costs would be about $37,000 for this system. This is just an example. And based on some of the statistics that we have from the continent, from our partner Solar Crowdsource, we're hoping we can get maybe a 10% discount. They see a lot more on the continent sometimes, but we'll see what we can get. So our estimate is about a $33,000 system. So we're hoping that that bulk purchase discount would be something you can only get from Solarize. And here we have some examples of what your monthly payments would look like, and your monthly savings for different financing options. Again, this is all going to depend on the contractor that we choose. It'll depend on the kind of monetization that you can do for your tax credit. So take this all with a grain of salt, but we're hoping that Solarize will be able to get you savings. And with that, I'll pass it back to Auntie Shar.
Aloha, mahalo. Kalamai, that was my daddy that came to drop in. So he said aloha, and yeah. So we talked about rooftop solar for our individual homes, right? But sometimes circumstances arise that rooftop solar is not an option for some of our families. You may not own the home you're in, or the family's not in agreement, or you live in a multi-family unit, like an apartment or condo. So what we do have We do have Kapua and Sebastian here to talk about what we call community-based renewable energy and what that looks like in benefits and how you can take advantage of that. So Sebastian Kapua.
Real quick, right before that, so if you are interested in Solarize, you can sign up on our website, here, and we'll ask you to take our introductory survey just about your energy needs so that you can join our first cohort.
Thanks, Dante.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
And now passing it off to Sebastian.
Thank you. I'm gonna, Sebastian's gonna do my slides while I just share. Oh, thank you so much, Shar, for such a good in-depth coverage, a brief one, yet very in-depth. So now we're gonna speak to those of us that do not have the ability to put it on top of our roof for various reasons. So it's called a community-based renewable energy. And what is a CBRE? Just to make it easy for you folks, we have it on the screen. We refer to it in the acronym CBRE, but others in the community, we also call it a community solar or shared solar because we don't have it on our personal rooftop. And unlike other solar farms, these CBREs is specifically for those of us subscribing households. So when we say subscribing, that means that you need to go to the HECO website and you need to select the community solar, the shared solar, or the CBRE, usually in your community, or it could be the one that affords you the best benefits. But you will have an option to select when you go to the Hawaiian Electric website. And this program here, again, is for those of us that do not or choose to not have rooftop solar. Thank you. And so this is what our next screen, it basically looks like, which is very similar to what we see all the time. So when we set up the shared solar farm, it will be an array of panels and it's going to connect to the HECO power system. And so it's going to flow through the HECO power system into our households. But because we have subscribed to that particular shared solar, we will receive credits because these panels that you see, and you would select your energy based upon your last 12 months of usage. Or if you're planning on getting AC or an electric vehicle in the future, you may want to let us know so that we can increase from your previous 12 months of usage. So it's very important that you share this information with your shared solar farm organization. And Sebastian will continue this for us.
Hello, Auntie Kapua. And aloha, everyone. My name is Sebastian Solar. I'm the community energy planner at Shake Energy Collaborative. So further discussing CBRE, we can look at some numbers, and I think that's where it can be more real in understanding the benefit to these subscriber households. So I think Dante shared an earlier example of a 5-person household with such and such energy consumption per year. And so I tried to model these numbers roughly around that of if a family has a monthly electric bill of 375, which is a bit above average, but for a 5-person household, it's reasonable. To subscribe to the project, there would be a subscription cost. So those developing the project and owning the project need to recoup the money for building the solar farm, and that goes to pay for that. However, as the project sells electricity to the utility, it can reward the subscribers with bill credits. And so from the subscriber's perspective, they would be getting a net savings in this scenario of $55. So it's the difference between subscription costs and on-bill credits, which comes out to roughly a 50% bill savings. Each project provides a different amount of bill savings. The projects that we've been working on aim between 10 to 20% bill savings. And the reason why we aim for 10 to 20% bill savings is because that makes it roughly equivalent to potential bill savings if one were to go the conventional route of rooftop solar. So this, again, CBRE is meant to be a equitable alternative for those who can't access rooftop solar or opt out of rooftop solar. But we don't want that to mean that they have to benefit less from the clean energy transition. So in this example to the right, your electric bill is $375. You get the solar and batteries installed at your house. You're suddenly saving tremendously on your electric bill, $300 in this example scenario. But you already invested around, I think some of the numbers were 33,000, but plus installation costs. I put the higher bound to maybe 60,000 if that includes financing and paying interest over so many years. But if it did cost 40 to 60,000, you would eventually make your money back on that investment in 11 to 16 years, and then you would be seeing the savings. But if we took just a 20-year snapshot, which these CBRE projects also have a lifespan of 20 to 25 years is the typical contract with the utility. The overall savings would be in the realm of 15 to 35%. Of course, the savings might be more if you can afford to install the rooftop for cheaper. But hopefully this quick demonstration shows that they're roughly in the same ballpark, and something that is wonderful about the work that Antikapua does with the Waianae Sustainability Co-op is that it's a community ownership model that really helps maximize these bill savings for subscribers, because it's a nonprofit cooperative. And then for those of you interested in subscribing to a CBRE that is based in Waianae, Waianae Moku, Antikapua's organization, Waianae Sustainability Co-op, is developing a 250 kilowatt CBRE project at the Waianae Base Yard along Farrington Highway. This is a industrially zoned DHHL parcel. And the project involves rooftop solar and carports. It has the capacity to serve about 80 subscriptions, serve 80 households. And the priority is to LMI qualified households. And so that's part of the community co-design process at WSC, that as a community, they decided that those financial benefits should go to those who could most benefit from the financial relief. Another project in Waianae Moku is the Savio Solar project. This is an 8 megawatt project behind Sea Country, just Mauka Sea Country neighborhood. It's a much larger project and has the capacity to serve 2,500 households. 2,500 subscriptions. This project was also designed in a community co-design methodology. And one of the results of that community discussion was that they wanted to prioritize available subscriptions to those in the impacted community, so those geographically close to the solar farm, and give them priority as well. And if you'd like to learn
Sebastian, real
more,
quick, I don't want to throw you off, but for folks
yeah.
who don't know about the zoning, can you just give a little bit of insight why that specific parcel in Manili is for solar, not residential or anything else, please?
Oh, sure. The Savio Solar project is on Ag 2 zone land, but it is intentionally left fallow because it currently serves as a buffer between the residentially zoned land of Sea Country and the farming community upland. So it's an empty parcel that has plans to remain empty. However, there were ideas of potentially doing dual use. However, that's kind of a conversation to continue elsewhere. But I hopefully that's a good answer to that.
Yes, I think it was good for folks who are online, but maybe also watching at a later date, that it's zoned for that specific purpose and we're not taking away land from places that would be served as otherwise. And this has always been the intention as a buffer. So even when we continue the conversations about managing open lands, I think this is important how we look at what that looks like. So thank you so much.
Yeah. And the land use is something that is continually in discussion between all of the key entities around that plot, the farming community, the neighborhood community. Yeah. But I'll just wrap up by saying that each project has a website. You can learn more about the Waianae Sustainability Co-op project at waianaesustainabilitycoop.com, and the Savio Solar project, which is very small on my screen, saviosolarprojectsolutions.com. And you're always welcome to reach out to those of us at Shake. And you can find us at shake-energy.com with any questions or contact. Yeah, and with that, I'll pass it back off to Dante and Parker.
Mahalo, Sebastian. And one second while we just maybe get these slides up and running. I just want to say mahalo again to Rep Kila for bringing us all together, and mahalo to those of you who have joined us tonight and watching in the future. Aloha kako, my name is Parker Kushima. I'm the Outreach and Community Engagement Specialist with the Hawaii State Energy Office and coordinate a program called the Clean Energy Wayfinders, who I'll be sharing a bit more about in later slides. But the main thing that I want to talk about today is, we've been talking all about solar, about some of these things you might see yourself doing down the line, but there's definitely a lot that you can do in the meantime. Some things that any household in Hawaii can do, but also some things specific for Waianae Moku. And today I'm going to be talking about energy efficiency in your home. Here I'm speaking on behalf of myself at Hawaii State Energy Office, but a lot of the energy efficiency work that happens around the state is also with an organization called Hawaii Energy. So if you ever see this little pluggy logo here, that's the energy efficiency folks. And you can always count on them to be providing great information around energy efficiency. Slide here. There we go. So what is energy efficiency? The name of the game here is that less is more. Here on the right here, I have a diagram that shows kind of our different tiers of what we think of energy, different actions that folks can take, but they're tiered for a reason, because there are some things that we want to make sure we're doing first so that we're not spending too much, taking up too much land, building more energy than we actually need. So working from the bottom here, the base of this pyramid, energy conservation. These are things that usually involve changing your habits and practices to use less or no energy in some cases, really based around behavioral changes. And they also have the best return on investments because these are often things that don't cost any money to do. Think of, instead of using your dryer or your drying machine, hanging clothes up on a clothesline. That's an example of energy conservation. It's things that, maybe your tutu folks have been doing for years, and there's a reason they're doing it. It's because it's saving them money and energy. The second tier there, after we look at how we can conserve energy, is energy efficiency. And this is things that we can do to do the same tasks or actions, things like cooking or cleaning, your work, or even things you do for fun while using less energy. So this often involves purchasing and installing what are called energy efficient appliances or equipment. So you can think of, if you ever see, we'll talk a bit more about this, but this Energy Star logo, or have heard of the term Energy Star before, those are appliances that have been tested and proven to use less energy. Think of things like your fridges, your washers and dryers, even things like household appliances like your TVs. These are all things that there may be products out there that use less energy to do the same things. And then there at the top of the pyramid is what we're largely talking about tonight, renewable energy. So the reason I said this is tiered is, say, we have an understanding of how much energy Hawaii as a state, or maybe Oahu as an island, or even your household needs. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you're taking those actions first to conserve energy where you can, be efficient where you can too, so that you're not spending too much on something that's more than you actually need. Rep. Kila and Sebastian were just talking about land use considerations for renewable energy. This is a big step towards reducing land use, is making sure that we're cutting down on our energy costs, not just on the individual or household level, but everyone as a state before we're pursuing renewable energy. So a couple of specific next steps in energy efficiency that folks can take today. I have a couple of things to share with you. One, from our partners over at Hawaii Energy, is their Energy Smart for Homes program. This might be something that some of you folks have heard about if you come to talk to us at any of our events, or maybe you've seen it in the news or online. This is a program that offers free energy assessments and energy efficiency upgrades for typical appliances around your home, LED light bulbs, which are much more efficient than the incandescent or even fluorescent light bulbs that some of us have, advanced power strips, things that can help you monitor and control your energy usage for any appliances you have plugged into them, and even things that you might not think about when you think of energy, high efficiency water faucets or shower heads, because energy and water are really closely tied. You're pumping your water, you're heating it up maybe with your water heater. So this is a free program that Hawaii Energy offers, and it can save you up to $340 on average annually just by making these small changes. And actually, all the appliances are free, and it's only applicable for some zip codes across the state, but 96792 is one of those zip codes. So if this is something that you folks have not taken advantage of, this is a great opportunity to start your journey down energy efficiency in a way that you can save money and also learn more about energy efficiency in your own home. There's a QR code there, but please do feel free to follow up with us for any more information. From our office, HSCO, or the Hawaii State Energy Office, we also have some tips for saving money and energy at home, at work, and on the go. So over there on the right, just have a sample flyer that we have. We hand it out at our events that we table at, but also have them available online. And those are a lot of the practices, again, that I was mentioning before, or you might see some things that you already do around your house, using fans instead of AC, using cold water to wash your clothes, or hang drying your clothes instead of using the dryer. Small steps that each of us can take to see some savings on our bills, but collectively make a big difference if not only our individuals, but again, folks like our businesses, our industries are taking these actions too. And again, a QR code there. Next one, and this is the timely one. Sorry, there's a lot of text on the screen, but this is actually pretty much all of the text about this program because it's really simple and it's a great opportunity, again, coming to YNI, Hawaii Energy, in partnership with the Makaha Learning Center. And this is their YNI Appliance Trade Up program. You might have seen this. It's come to Waianae a couple of times before, but basically this is a program where you can sign up. If you have an old fridge, they'll come and haul it out and drop off a newly purchased energy efficient fridge, which you will also receive some upfront rebates on. So great opportunity to not only save upfront, but also save in the long run because of the reduced electricity you'll be using from these energy efficient appliances. And again, there's the Energy Star logo there on the right. So only 5 steps to participate, and a couple of them might automatically be done. Like the first one here, you have to have an old but working fridge that's at least 14 cubic foot or more, fridge or freezer, and live in 96792 zip code. The second, go onto their website, choose an eligible fridge or freezer to purchase. And here's some options here on the right. And fill out the application. You need support filling out the application. That's where Makaha Learning Center comes in. They offer free support to help fill out the appliance straight up application, either by calling them 808-913-2399, or you can actually schedule a visit to Makaha Learning Center to do it in person, which is a great opportunity, you know, just sit down face to face with someone and talk through this. Submit your application and the payment by March 18th. Like I mentioned, this is pretty timely, right around the corner, but maybe you need a new fridge for the holiday season. Could be a good Christmas present to the family, and you'll save upfront and in the long run. Step 4 there, just wait to hear back and schedule your delivery and hauling of your old fridge freezer. And then the last step there, just highly encourage for all participants, is to attend the Energy Unplugged Zoom workshop on March 13th, 2024. And a way to not only save the money up front, but also learn about why, you know, how you're saving energy, why this is an important step to take, and, you know, the other great things that Hawaii Energy does. So for more information and to download the application, you can visit their website. It's easy, hawaiienergy.com/Waianae. And again, that's in partnership with Makaha Learning Center. So right at home in the community. They've done this program a couple times before, as Auntie Kapua saying in the chat, been really successful in the past. So please do look into it if you know you have, you know, you meet these requirements. And then one more program coming soon that I wanted to share is something called the Home Electrification and Appliance Rebate, or HERE program. This is part of the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA. And it's something that our office, the Hawaii State Energy Office, will be helping to facilitate over the next year. So this is a big chunk of money, about $34 million, of which about 80% will be available for appliance rebates. Over there on the right, you see some examples of the appliance and even some building materials and, you know, home envelope stuff that might be applicable for this program. We're still settling the details of this program, but this at least gives you a good idea of what upfront may be available through these rebates. One thing to note is that this is only available for low to moderate income residents. And by low to moderate income, we're talking about less than or equal to 150% of the area median income. We have more information about this on our website, but the area median income is just a way of comparing different incomes across a certain area, and it's actually different by island. So one thing to note. And the reason that this is focusing on LMI residents is because as part of the Justice 40 program, which is attached to a lot of different federal funds coming down, there has to be a focus on of at least 40% of the benefits of federal funding in certain programs flowing to what federal government is calling disadvantaged communities. Sometimes we may refer to them as underserved or otherwise underrepresented communities. But this program will have a huge focus on outreach, engagement, education around what energy efficiency is, why these kinds of appliances help make a difference, not only on your bill, but in our energy ecosystem, and also community benefits. So again, huge things that we're focusing on. This is anticipated to launch sometime late spring to summer of 2024, but we'll be sure to make sure you folks have the latest information as we continue developing what this program looks like. And last thing, and we've been sharing a lot of information, but if anyone needs any support navigating all of this information, great resource, as I mentioned before, is connecting with your local Waianaimoku clean energy wayfinders. So the wayfinders are folks working within communities across the state, helping connect folks with clean energy programs and resources such as Solarize 808, green workforce opportunities. This is a big thing that our office is focusing on. It's something that the wayfinders can help to facilitate. And also just generally your community or household energy discussions and conversations. So it could be, how do I save money on my electric bill? A lot of the things we're talking about today. Or it can be, similar to Solarize or CBRE. How do I get involved? How do I share my perspectives, my voice in my community's energy conversations? So any questions at all about any of this, please do feel free either to reach out to our Solarize 808 team here or Nikki Shintania and Malia McDonald, who are your Waianaimoku Clean Energy Wayfinders. All our emails are there, mine as well. But please do feel free to reach out, and we'd love to just talk story about anything energy that you folks might have questions about. With that, I will pass it back to Dante.
Thanks, Parker. Real quick before we go to
Mhm.
Dante to finish us off, can you just follow up to make sure that the link is active for the rebate? Because on the website right now, it's currently saying that they are not accepting applications. So if you could just follow up on that to
Got
make
it.
sure it's active.
Yes, the on
Thank
Hawaii
you.
Energy's website.
Sorry, the hawaiienergy.com/Waianae, yes.
Will do. Thank you for pointing that out.
Thank you so much. Okay, Dante, to finish us off.
Yeah, and just a note, I think the Hawaii Energy application will open in January. So they're still getting the word out before it opens up.
Duly noted. Come
Oh, yeah.
January.
Ahead of the ball, Rep Kila. All right, back to you, Dante.
Okay, so lastly, let's talk about money. Again, my name is Dante, and I'm the Community Outreach Officer at the Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority, and I've also been helping out with Solarize 808 for the past few months. So since today's topic is really about energy burden, ultimately you need to ask yourself what the numbers are going to look like, right? So you can quantify, will Solarize actually be able to help my bank account? Will it help me have more money at the end of the month? And can I afford solar? To answer some of these questions, I'll be looking at the cost of solar, some of the payment options that are out in the market if you want to get solar. And then I'll talk about programs offered by the Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority and specifically the Green Energy Money Saver Program, or GEMS. So first, the cost of going solar, as you can see on this graph here, can be somewhat significant. So it's true that the cost of solar has historically gone down. There's an article from the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, which says the cost of rooftop solar now, 2023 compared to 2000 is actually about 80% lower. But that said, for a 6.6 kilowatt system, which is about what you would need for a family of 5, the cost for the panels alone would still be 30,000, and then with the battery, that could go up to 50,000. And just showing what the range of system costs can look like. On the upper right, there's a graph of different projects that HGIA has financed. So you can see there's a range of system sizes, but regardless, they still span in the tens of thousands of dollars. And whether or not you have the money on hand now, someone is eventually going to have to pay for that in order for you to get solar, right? So what this means is that even though renewable energy in the long run, and specifically solar, can save you money, there is that big upfront energy cost. So even if you're, emitting less carbon and you don't need oil coming in every month from barges from Libya to fund your to supply your electricity, there's still that issue with equity, because if you can't pay that upfront cost, ultimately you won't be able to access those long-term savings. And speaking of energy, my lights just went off here. So you can see in this map over here, the concentration of rooftop solar in the bottom right actually doesn't map to how many people are in a given area or how much sun there is. It maps a lot closer to what the median income is in that area. So how much money do people have? So when it comes to paying for that upfront cost of solar, one of your options is naturally cash. So if you have $50,000 on hand or in your bank account, you can put that down. You don't have to worry about interest. You don't have to worry about paying back for their loan, and you get that immediate savings. But if you don't have that much money on hand, as I think very few people do, you'll need to get financing. In either case, the goal is for solar to ultimately save you more money in the long run than the system itself costs. So if you're paying cash, you just need more than $50,000 in savings in the long run. If you're not, then the goal will be for you to save more than this total cost of energy in the long run. So on this chart, I have five banks that have partnered with Solarize 808 and have attended our programs to talk about their financial programs. So the first two are commercial banks. They're American Savings Bank and Central Pacific Bank. The next two are Hawaii State Federal Credit Union and Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union. And the last two are both from HGIA, which is the state's greed bank and the organization that I'm representing. So you can see there's a variety of programs out there. And just the caveat, Solarize 808 doesn't endorse any specific lender. You'll need to do your due diligence and check with an accountant to see which financial program is best for you. You can see the terms range from 7 years to 25 years for HCIA. You'll also see the commercial banks offer at upfront lower rates. So a few of them offer 0% interest for the first year or two, which is basically giving you the chance to, if you can get it, receive your tax credit and then apply your tax credit to the loan to hopefully buy down the loan, either reducing your monthly payments or reducing the total costs of the loan. And ultimately, the four, commercial banks that are listed on the top here, they do have higher monthly payments, but they also have, in the end, a lower total cost. So you might be thinking, why do I want to participate in the bottom two programs offered by HGIA that have a higher total cost? So the thing about commercial banks is oftentimes they have higher qualifications. So for example, you'll need a certain minimum credit score. If you don't meet that credit score, then you're going to have to pay a higher rate, higher monthly payments, or you won't qualify for their loan at all. There's also different sorts of qualifications like debt to income ratios and checking assets. But if you can't qualify based on that, or if you can't afford the higher monthly payments from the commercial banks, you can see they range up to almost $1,000. That's what HGIA is here for. So HGIA doesn't have any credit limits, and qualification is based only on your income, if you're low to moderate income. And you can see HGIA has two programs. The first is the Green Energy Money Saver Loan. The term goes up to 25 years and it's capped at 5.5%, which helps bring the monthly payment down in this instance to about $300 a month. We also offer GEMS Energy Services, which is similar to a power purchase agreement in which a third party installs and owns the PV system on your house, and you buy the energy from that system owner. So that gives you the option to access clean energy without the liability of owning the system, and to still get those savings. So now talking briefly about the organization that runs those last two programs, HGIA. So we are Hawaii's Green Bank, and our goal is to provide accessible and affordable solar financing for people who can't qualify or afford the other programs that are already out there on the market. So as many of you may know, the state has a goal for 100% renewable energy generation by 2045, but HGIA helps to support that by providing the financial background. So, you don't have to rely on private banks to get rooftop solar or to access renewable energy. So we are a state agency that was created in 2014, and we're specifically under the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism. We have a number of financing programs for both commercial and nonprofit, but today I'll be focusing on our residential programs, which are for both renters and homeowners, and again, specifically the GEMS program. Okay, so what is GEMS? Again, it's our energy financing program, which is designed to help people who are locked out of the private energy market to access clean energy. Again, there's a fixed 5.5% interest rate up to a 25-year term, which is designed to bring down monthly costs and make it more affordable. There's also no upfront costs except the application fee and potentially a trust review fee. And there's a few other characteristics that might make GEMS appealing to you. So one of them is, again, there's no credit barriers. Qualification is not based on credit, whether you have any HECO disconnections, how many assets you have. Pretty much the goal is for everyone to be able to access it. And I'll get in a little bit more into detail about what the qualifications are on my next slide. Another feature of GEMS is that it's paid on your utility bill. So on your HECO bill, you'll be repaying your GEMS loan as a program charge. So that means you're not getting any additional bills in the mail every month. It's all tied into your HECO bill. And the GEMS loan is also required to show an estimated utility bill savings. So what this means is that we'll only qualify your project if we can estimate that the savings that you'll get from solar plus the repayments of the loan are going to be less than what you're paying in the first hand. So we want to make sure that solar is going to help you be in a better place financially. Some other benefits include the obligation for the loan is tied to your utility meter rather than you individually. So if you're a renter and you move, you're not paying for a system that you're not using. And there's also no prepayment penalties. So if you're qualified for tax benefits, you can use those to buy down your loan. There's a number of eligible installations, including water heaters, but again, we're focusing on PV and storage today. Okay, so now a little bit more details about what the qualification process is for GEMS. So I mentioned that GEMS is designed to be accessible, but it's not for everyone and it's not for everything. So there's a two-step qualification process, and the first one is seeing which participants are eligible. The two qualifications are, first, you have to have been a Hawaiian Electric customer for a minimum of 6 months, and that's just so we have the data to see if solar will actually help reduce your bill or not. The second qualification is you have to be a low or moderate income household, and you can see what that looks like here. So for example, for a family of 5, the maximum income you can make per year is $198,100. So if you're qualified, next we're going to check if your project is eligible. And this is just seeing if we can estimate that your PV system will actually save you money based on your existing usage. So minimum savings is based on how many disconnections you have. You can see if you have no disconnection notices, we want your bill after plus the repayments to be 5%. And then that goes up to 15% if you have 5 or more disconnections. Of course, these savings are not guaranteed and they depend on electric prices, the cost of oil, the weather, your behavior. So if you get solar and you start cranking your AC all day, you might not see that percent savings. But we'll be looking at your previous usage to determine eligibility for that. And last, if you're a renter, you will need your landlord or property owner's approval for the installation. Okay. Next, so Anti-Shar talked about how Solarize is vetting contractors for workmanship and customer service. And HCI also supports Solarize mission for solar to be a tool for financial well-being. So we have a couple consumer protection measures in place. One of them is we'll only finance a system when we know it's up and running. So you're not paying, for a system that's not working when you're not getting any savings. We also have limits on system size and cost per watt limits. So you're only paying for the energy you're using, not a huge system that has all these panels producing energy that's just going to waste. We also make sure our contractors meet certain state requirements and basic licensure requirements. And also a note, we don't use cold calling or door-to-door salespeople too. Okay, so next, just a quick preview of what your savings could look like with HEIA. This one is a lease, so a third party owns the system that's built on someone's house, and that person is paying for the energy. In this example, the person, the homeowner, was paying $338 a month for energy. After they had the solar installed and signed the lease, they were only paying $22 a month for energy from the grid, plus $206 for access to the solar energy, which nets to $228 a month, or a monthly savings of $110. So that's $110 for up to 20 years, which is the life of the power purchase agreement, which adds up to a pretty considerable $20,658. So might seem small month to month, but it definitely adds up because you'll have solar for a long time. Okay, so next steps. If you're thinking about solar and you're interested in financing, recommend that you first join Solarize 808 and complete the customer survey. Then you can get started on finding financing while the Solarize team works on finding a contractor. Again, you'll need to check with your accountant, do your due diligence and research to find what is best for your situation. And if it seems like HGIA is right for you, you can go to our website. There's a little picture here. Click apply now, click on residential, and you can fill out an application. And please feel free to reach out to us or to any other Solarize 808 members if you have questions. So here's our contact information. There's also a link to HGIA on the Solarize website. Thank you again to Rep Kila for organizing. Happy holidays, and just want to point out, even your Christmas tree or your menorah for the next 3 days of Hanukkah can be solar too. So, yeah.
Dante, thank you so much, and thank you to all the amazing panelists. Virtual round of applause to you folks. I just want to thank you folks for just really talking about what's available, especially the part about renters, right? I think oftentimes there may be the group that's left out, and I think the fact that you all have made strides to include the renter population into this, it allows equitable savings across each group, right? So I know that there's only a few of us here, but if there are any questions right now, I'd be more than willing to facilitate a Q&A. And I did put it in the chat, the link. So once this is done, you folks can go back and revisit it. And I just really want to extend my sincere mahalo again. I know you folks had it on the screens, but each panelist, if you folks don't mind just going one more time to share the best way for folks to get a hold of you or your department. And Tishar, if you don't mind going first.
Sure. So in this case, if I'm interested in Solarize 808 and being part of this, definitely go to our website, solarize808.com, or you can email us at admin@solarize808.com. Or if any of you know me or like Rep Kila, my phone number's out there as well. But directly for Solarize 808, go there and then just sign up so you can at least continue to stay in the loop for information. Mahalo.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tishar. And Tikopua, do you mind?
Thank you, Rep Kila. Okay, if we could go to the last slide, and that would show our contact information for the community-based renewable energies within our system. The ones with the colors, I'm sorry, babe. The green.
Is it before this one?
With the purple. Yeah.
Oh.
There you go. One more down. Okay, so for the Waianae Sustainability Co-op, it is Waianae sustainabilitycoop.com. And for Savio Solar, it is Savio Solar Power Solutions.com. Also, to let everyone know that Energize Waianae Moku is also one of the contacts that we have, and our email for that one, because that entity is also going to help us in future movements and engagements in energy savings. And that is energizewaianae1@gmail.com.
And then I saw Sebastian in the chat added another contact would be wvhcbre@gmail.com to contact Waianae Sustainable Communities. And if you want to reach them at Shake Energy, it's seb@shake-energy.com. Thank you so much, Sebastian. Parker.
Mahalo again, Kila, and for everyone for joining. Dante, if you could just go to the last slide of our section. Folks, please do feel free to reach out to either directly to myself. My email is there, parker.d.kushima@hawaii.gov. And also your two Waianae Moku Clean Energy Wayfinders, Nikki Shintani. Goes by Nikki, but that's the official name, nicole.fn.shintani.intern@hawaii.gov, or Malia McDonald at malia.w.mcdonald.intern@hawaii.gov. Plenty dots, but we'll share this out. So please do feel free to reach out. Mahalo.
Thank you so much, Parker. Lastly, Dante, I know you just were up, but if you don't mind, one more time.
Yep. So you can email dbed.greenbank@hawaii.gov. or call us at 808-587-3868. We're also downtown if you're in the area.
Awesome. And then again, I just want to thank everybody who was involved. LEI Foundation, Waianae Sustainability Co-op, Shake Energy Collaborative, the Hawaii State Energy Office, and Hawaii Green Infrastructure Authority. So again, this meeting is recorded for folks to view at a later date. You have all their contacts as well. And if there's anything you ever need here at my office, Rep Kila at capital.hawaii.gov. I almost forgot. But thank you folks so much for giving an hour this evening. I wish you folks a happy holiday, however you folks celebrate. And please be safe on the roads this holiday season.